Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love college football as much as I do. Here's my bold prediction for 2024 for the Florida Gators head coach, Billy Napier. Last year as a Seminole fan, I said Billy Napier was the right guy for Florida. He clearly likes the program. You couldn't really tell in his first year because he didn't really have a lot of time to recruit and gather his own players. And even before he got there, there wasn't a lot to work with in terms of elite talent, like the Alabamas, like the Georgias, the Ohio States. You know what I mean, right? And so he's going to have time. He's going to have to build that. And I thought he was the right guy to do it. It would just take time. And I would still say that if Florida had won a few more games. Some of the games that they lost, like to Utah, Kentucky, Missouri, and even the Florida State game, which was very winnable in my opinion, some of the stuff that I saw in those games, like turning the ball over, the personal fouls that were completely avoidable, just some of the stuff that coaching plays a big part of is what costed Florida those games. Because to be honest, I thought Florida should have won at least 7 games, if no more than 8 or 9 games. I thought they weren't a terrible team. They had pretty good athletes that could play with almost anybody. And even in the Georgia game that they had, they got blown out but I thought they could have played better and done a little bit more. I think some play calling was a big part of that Napier can take blame for. So there's a lot of pressure on Billy Napier in 2024, and it's not going to be an easy schedule. You got to start right out the bat with Miami. You got to play, I think they play Texas A&M. Don't they play A&M? I know they got Ole Miss at some point. You got Texas. You got to go over there and play them. You got to go to Florida State and play them, who I think is going to be better than last year, if not the same. Georgia as always. So, I think he's going to get fired just because of some of the stuff that I've seen him do. Like, again, his players have done, like penalty-wise, play calling, losing games that they shouldn't be losing and the way they're losing them to teams that aren't really better in terms of talent. Like, again, Kentucky's, Utah, those teams that are more beatable. Georgia, Florida State with the better talent that they have and the historically being a winning program, I can kind of understand that. But when you have penalties and you're shooting yourselves in the foot, that's a coaching problem. Remember when Willie Taggart was there at Florida State, there were a lot of personal fouls, a lot of dumb stuff going on that you don't see with Mike Norvell, Now, if he gets beat, it's because it's a team that's better than his, all right? But not because of self-inflicted dumb stuff, And I'm not saying Mike Norvell's some kind of elite coach or anything like that. He still has a lot to prove. But with Napier, if he wants to keep his job, the penalties, play calling has got to improve. It'll help him win some games. While those teams I named are big-name programs, if Florida gets a few more athletes and they just do things better, they should at least make a bowl. That was just unexcusable. Arkansas they lost to, should have won. I feel like Kentucky was more winnable, especially when their quarterback struggled throwing the football all year. Utah was very beatable. I don't care if it was home or away. That was a very winnable game. Florida State was winnable. Missouri, all these games, they should have won to the very minimal 2 or 3 more games what they won. So I think he's going to get fired. Again, you got players now. I like the players that he has. They're good players. They're not elite, all elite or anything like that, but they're really good and can get you a winning record every year. And when you win more games, your recruiting gets better. And, of course, you're going to have a good recruiting class because players want to play. But that's not enough to really make me think, okay, he's doing the right thing. No, he's got to win. And if he doesn't win most of his games, he's going to go. And I think he's going to get fired.